welcome to Red English Country English Book to Read today. Super Bunny Tales, Max and Ruby story, and one more time story, The Polar Explorers. Are you ready to read? Here we go. The Polar Explorers. On Christmas Eve many years ago, I lay quickly in my bed. I did not rouse the streets. I raced slowly and silently. I was listening for a sound of friends. He told me I never hear the ringing bells in Santa's sleigh. There's no Santa, my friend said, but I knew was wrong. Late at night, I did hear sounds, drone and ringing bells. From outside came sounds of hissing, screaming, squealing metal. I looked through my window and saw the train sat fitfully and still from my house. And whispered along the street. Snow fell obliquely around it. A calendar stood up and opened the door, wound up a course, and looked at the large and pocket watch from this bucket, and then looked at on my window. I put my slippers on my boat. I trotted downstairs out of the door. Aboard, said the constellations and cried out. I ran to open. Well, he said, are you coming? Where? I asked. Why, to the North Pole, of course. Polar Express. I took in a crutch's hand and pulled up the board. The train is filled with another kitchen and children. It wasn't there of pajamas and a nightgown. We sang Christmas songs and they ate candies, and the twilight Christmas there was in white snow. We can drink hot cocoa and rich there was a milk chocolate barrels. Outside, the lights of the towns and village figured desolate at the Polar Express about rain snowfall. Soon their more lights began. There we drove those and corals, forest. There was a land wolf's room and white tall rabbits from out of the trains and turned through their quiet windows. He climbed mountains so high he seemed if we would scrape the moon, but it was a Polar Express. Never he showed down. Faster and faster we came long rolling over peaks and drove valleys like a car on a roller coaster. The mountains turned into the hills, and hills to snow covered in the plains. We crossed the abundant distance of the ice. The great polar ice cap above the lights disappeared up there decorated. They looked like a license string judging and leaves sailing from the sea. There, said the colonist, it was the North Pole. The North Pole. It was a huge city standing alone that on the top of the world. He filled the factories every Christmas toy made. At first I saw no leaves. There gently looked at Christopher's city. The constellation told us they were Santa giving first of gift to Christmas. Who delivered the first gift? We all said. The conductor answered, we'll show some for of you. Look, shouted the children. The eaves outside saw the hundreds of the leaves, and our train go closer and to the North Pole. We showed the carol. The carol that was in streets and Santa's help us. When the Polar Express couldn't go not theater, he stepped into the calendar, and there was no outside. He passed through the crowd and each of the village. Up in the circle, he fronted was a Santa sleigh, and the reindeer was excited. They pretended plated, reeling over the shovel of rock ranks. There was a huge from their noses and handless. He was a magic sound like nothing I never heard. Across the circle, in leaves moved before the Santa Claus appeared. The leaves cheered wildly. He marched towards them and pointing to me, said, "Let's have a follow here." He jumped into the sky and slid down onto the colander and held me up and sat to Santa's knee and said, "How are you to be for the Christmas?" I knew that I could have any gift I could marry Germans, but the essence thing I wanted the most for the Christmas is not inside Santa's giant bag. When I wanted to more, and anything I wanted so bad from the Santa sleigh. And I asked Santa smile would they have me a hug, and told the if for the humans there was a name for the toes up to Santa, and so told him the bell and above him, and there was called out the first grade of the Christmas. A knock of the stump made noise as I labored. There was no apple. Santa handed the bell to me. I put in my backward of the pocket, and the calendar held me down into the sleigh. And Santa shouted the reindeer the names up cracked to the whip, and tea changed up the world and climbed to the air. And Santa circled above us and disappeared in the cold dark polo sky. As soon we are back inside the Polar Express, and now we're and children said, "Boy, the train is sudden lunch wasn't started moving. We're on the way home." I broke my heart against the bell, waking up the trains and another children's. But something from moving the train, I did not hear him. "What?" I yelled out. He coughed around her mouth. "Merry Christmas," he shouted. The Polar Express let him out and spilled away. And tomorrow will be morning. The little sister Sarah and I opened the little present, but she had a name on it. Inside the softball bell, there was no note. Found this on the side of my sleigh, fixed their hole that was in pocket. Signed Mr. C. I shook the bell and made a most beautiful sound that wasn't sister had ever heard. But my mother said, "Oh, it's too bad." "Yes," my father said. "It's broken. It hasn't shaken bell." But there was a present not hear the sound. One more time, more my friends, it wasn't bell, but there was no passive felt of them. There wasn't Sarah find the Christmas bell. He could no longer than it was a sweet sound. Joby Apple was my dog. Would be rings off my whole noses about it was really thoroughly believed. The end. And one more time, story. Max and Ruby story. Super Bunny Tales. Super Max saved the day. "It's a great day for picnic, Max," said Max's sister Ruby. "Time to get ready, Max. Where are you?" Max listening favorite radio program, Super Bunny. He had a special red cape. And Max zoomed into the room and Tiny nook on the down. "Super Bunny," shouted Max. "No more Super Bunny. It's almost picnic time," said Ruby. "Max, silly swimmer, is something to hope. Because our picnic too," said Ruby. "But still you can go more beans before I'm ready." "Super Bunny," shouted Max. And as Max ran out of the room and he bumped into Ruby. Her picnic blanket flew up in the air. Blanket fell on the Sally and popped her right into the picnic basket. But Ruby didn't see it happen. Okay, Max, it's time to go, said Ruby. You can pretend to be Super Bunny after a picnic. Oh no, where's Sally Swimmer? Said Ruby. I left her on the table and she was gone. Max didn't know what Sally Swimmer was. And Ruby looked around the Sally in the kitchen and living room. She could not find her, but Ruby in the bedroom too. Sally was not with her in outdoors. Where could she be? Max, said Ruby, a real superhero to help me find Sally. Super Bunny, shouted Max, and off there wasn't Sarah. And Super Bunny, shouted Max, as Max zoomed through the dining room, and he bumped into our picnic basket. Our popped Sally Swimmer, and then cut Sally Swimmer in the middle. And thanks, you really, Super Bunny, said Ruby. Super Max to the rescue. Let's play soccer, said Louise. Yes, said Ruby. The Emily doll can be a third of the show now. Max zoomed into the room and pretending to be a Super Bunny. And Ruby and Louise to be busy to play with Max. Just then, Max saw the toy train was an old crushed up there of stitch blocks. See you, said Max. Max, he was inside. Up there drew the blocks. Meanwhile, Ruby and Louise upstairs. We need a big old horse and Emily to ride it on, said Louise. But there was no hat on Ruby's hat. Max, said Ruby, come to be escorted into our circus. But Max didn't want to watch the circus. He zoomed right out of the room, and she left the elephant behind. Look, Louise, said Ruby, Emily is right on this airplane. When Max zoomed back into the living room, his elephant was gone. He looked over the house. There's Red Rubber Elephant. There was Speed in the backyard. See you, said Max. But Ruby, the elephant back. It's circus time, not Super Bunny time, said Ruby. We need your elephant, Max. Accident. Emily and Louise are rare red elephant in the trapeze, shouted Ruby. But they didn't up their elephant the trapeze. Save you, said Max. Max grabs his elephant back. And then they accidented Emily off the trapeze. Oh no, said Ruby. We forget the safety bag. Save you, said Max. They chose elephant right under Emily and she let it softly back. We go, said Louise. You saved circus, Max, cheered Ruby. Super Max saves the world. The Max listening to his favorite video game program, Super Bunny. He liked to pretend there was superhero too. And then in the kitchen, Ruby and Louise were still on their science of the project. We make our surgery system out of balloons. Rescue, said Max. We don't need rescuing, said Ruby. We are working. So Max entered the living room. There wasn't all that of toys. Max Robster chased into the chicks and out of the room. Rescue, said Max. He followed the Robster and chicks into the kitchen. Oops, we bumped into the Louise. Oh, be careful, Max, said Ruby. We don't know the project's a break. And then a Robster and chicks rescue, said Max. He stopped on the chicks and Robster couldn't reach them. In the kitchen, Ruby and Louise were crawling into the balloons. Now it's pain to our planet, said Louise. Meanwhile, we were wondering there was a lobster they land. And suddenly a lobster carried him to the kitchen. Max, came out your lobster, said Ruby. We don't want to ruin our project. But the lobster nipped by Ruby's feet. Ruby jumped and earth flying out of their hands. Rescue! shouted Max. He conjured earth just before crashed to the floor. Look, Max, you rescued the world, said Ruby. The end. Did you have fun? You asked English Control. Come back with a better book. And you asked goodbye, and the book to the goodbye to. Super Bunny Tails goodbye to, and Max goodbye, and Ruby goodbye to, and Louise goodbye, and Max and Ruby goodbye to, and the Polar Explorers goodbye to, and the Polar Explorers friends goodbye to, and lots of friends goodbye to, and today Turbo goodbye, and your Raspberry Bear goodbye to, and see you next time. See you tomorrow. Bye bye, friends.